I have literally applied to over 100 jobs.
I really feel like I'm never gonna get a job again. Like, I'm so scared because like I have been unemployed for 3 months.
The job market is tough. There are no jobs. Everything is crazy. The job market.
So I wanted to come on here and talk about something that is really starting to annoy.
Our market is so bad right now that when you're trying to apply for a job, your ratio of even getting the job that you're applying for is 0 to none. Also, if you have a job, the job market is so bad that your job is overworking you and still paying you the same salary. They're switching up schedules on you, giving you more work, less pay, cutting budgets on you, pretty much jerking you around all around because they know where the job market is. They know even if you're looking for somewhere else to go, that's also going to probably jerk you around, that they could take advantage of you. Right now, it's like employment abuse going on. Like, you literally are underpaid, tired, and stressed out if you have a job. And if you don't have a job, you're stressed out because you can't find a job and you've been applying to over 100 places pretty much a week, or you've been unemployed for more than 2 years trying to find a job. The job market right now is so bad that you're literally getting abused as a human being. It's super sad.
Hi, my name is Emily. I'm 30 years old and I have no home and no job. Yes, you did hear that correctly. 4 months ago, I decided to quit my corporate job of 8 years and leave all of my financial security and security blanket that I had behind to try and go out and find something more meaningful for me to do. And what I realized is actually that there is a lot of girls and women out there that are kind of feeling the same way. And the reason I know this to be true is because me and one of my best friends decided to start a virtual online community for women. So what I will say is, I don't know the answer. If you are feeling like this, I haven't had it all figured out. I'm very much so in the process. I don't have another job yet. I don't have the answers. I don't know where I'm moving. But I do know having community has made it that much better.
Guys, everyone's unemployed. Job market at the moment is absolutely insane. Every single day I go on my LinkedIn and someone has been laid off or they left their job because the company was just doing an absolute madness. Roles were getting changed. And what's actually going on? I was talking to my friend this morning about it and we are just saying how like it's so crazy that we are like the offspring of the hustle culture and a lot of people are trying to make something for themselves, but it's like the job market and the current state of the economy is just not working with our mindsets. It's just like not working with our mindsets. And yeah, it's a shame because a lot of people are struggling right now and don't know what's happening next. Recruiters are airing people, hiring managers are overwhelmed with CVs and applications. And then I'm also hearing that some of these applications that are posted on like LinkedIn and all of these job like boards aren't real jobs. I'm like, wait, what? Like, how did it get this bad? It's crazy.
I have literally applied to over 100 jobs.
Honestly, the job market in 2024 is different than anything I've ever seen. Companies are ghosting employees. Companies are putting out jobs that they have no intentions of ever hiring for, or even better, they send you through the hiring and interview process just for them never to call you back. I see countless videos and I've heard countless stories about put in for hundreds of jobs, thousands of jobs. Even one video that went viral where a lady put in for 100,000 jobs. But here's the thing that blows people's minds when I tell them this. We're in a job market where a lot of jobs are the same, but it's a lot of applicants are the same too. On the application, it says, hey, I need X, Y, and Z. Company's looking for X, Y, and Z. You have X, Y, and Z. You and so does everybody else applying for that job. What sets you apart? Oh, I went on a website, I filled out an application, and I'm waiting to hear back. Okay. That's like putting a message in a bottle and hoping that it gets found. And because of that, companies are going to be super picky on who they're trying to get for their company. Have a plethora of candidates that all have the same qualifications. You can be picky. In the corporate world, picky's not always a good thing. Does not always mean that your company's going to go for the best qualified candidate. It means that they might look at whoever's willing to do it the cheapest. Ever see those jobs and you're like, who is willing to do that for that amount of money? Somebody is. And the company's going to wait until they find somebody who is. I am no expert. I'm just a walking HR violation. And I have learned in my experience, you have to look at an interview as a two-way street. Not only is it the company's time to learn about you, it's your time to learn about the company. And a lot of the times where I've sat in on interviews and interviewed people for positions, I've gone, wow, you really don't know what we do here. You look great on paper, but you didn't do your homework. If you want to work for a company that is competitive, then you have to be competitive. When they ask you that horrible interview question of, well, why do you want to work here? Play the Uno reverse card and make them sell the company to you. Why should I want to work here? What are the benefits of working here and not at your competition? You've seen my resume and you're aware of my skill set, so how can the company use my skill set to better the company, and not only that, better myself? I tell people this all the time. You're an independent contractor. You work in the business of you. So what is the benefit for you? It's a weird market out there, and nobody's denying that the system's not broken. But if you're waiting on the system to fix itself, you're only failing yourself. You see it all the time. Nobody wants to work and nobody wants to hire. You have to be in the business of you. Once you do land that job, don't stop looking for another job. Keep irons in the fire all the time. You can take whatever I say with a grain of sand, because I am a guy sitting in his office with a Macho Man statue behind him. But this is what works for me. Tell me in the comments what has worked for you.
The job market is tough. There are no jobs. Everything is crazy. The job market is crazy. Okay, let's talk about it, really. So I work as head of HR for a biotech startup, and I hire very regularly. I am very well versed and plugged into the job market, and I want to give you some perspective and maybe insight into what people are saying, and to maybe not necessarily listen to every single thing that they're saying. Now, some of these people that have been saying that the job market is tough, that they've been going for interviews and that they haven't been landing a job, I want to give you or pose some questions to these folks, because I have interviewed so many people that have applied for jobs, have got to the interview stage, and when they are in the interview, it's so clear that they have not prepared for the interview. They know nothing about the company. They can't explain how they're going to bring value to the company and why I should hire them. So of course, they're not going to get to the next round. So don't get me wrong. I want to first confirm that remote jobs are in fact very in demand. So if you're applying for remote jobs, it's going to be 20 times harder for you to find a job. However, if you are applying for a fully in-office job or a hybrid job, those are still available. Lots of companies are still hiring, and I don't want you to look at videos of people saying that the job market is extremely tough and you're not going to get hired, and that shouldn't discourage you, because yes, it is hard to get a job right now, but I do want to give you some perspective. Now, if these are the people that are saying that the job market is tough, that it's so hard to get hired in 2024, then you should be listening to those people, because they are not prepared. They didn't do any prep work. They didn't do research on the company. Of course, they're not going to get the job. So let's keep that in mind. The other thing that I want to bring to your attention is, like I mentioned, remote jobs are extremely tough. So if you really want a job and you're only focusing on remote jobs, I think you should expand your horizon, because it's going to be harder to find a remote job for you. But if your goal is just to find a regular job that's in office, that's corporate, those jobs exist and people are hiring for those jobs. So if you expand your search, your likelihood of getting hired is a lot higher. I just think that sometimes TikTok and social media really gets us to believe things that are true. Yes, it's hard to find a job, but the perspective and the context is not provided for these. Like the people that are struggling to find jobs, what's really going on? Are you practicing for your interviews? Are you doing your research? Are you expanding your horizon? What job boards are you looking at? Are you networking? How optimized is your LinkedIn? Like those are all the things that are missing from their stories, and I do want to validate that it is hard to find a job, but I also want you guys to think about these things and not necessarily jump on that bandwagon and think that the job market is extremely impenetrable, because that is not true. You're still able to find a job, and this is coming from someone who works as head of HR and is hiring very regularly and is seeing a lot of these things happen in interviews, and the lack of prep, and talking to a lot of HR leaders in the space who are telling me very similar things. So just keep that in mind.
I really feel like I'm never gonna get a job again. Like I'm so scared, because like I have been unemployed for 3 months. I'm not eligible for unemployment because I just moved here. I am so stressed out. Like this has never happened to me before. Like I've always had a job. Like I was an honor student, like third in my class, so successful in high school and college. And I have a bachelor's degree in poli-sci. I have 2 years of experience in mental health. I'm a great worker. I'm so organized, but nobody will even give me an interview. And I was crying on the phone with my mom, because I was like, what if I literally can't find a job? Like I've been applying for months. Like I literally can't find anything. Like what am I gonna do? Like, am I just gonna live with my parents for the rest of my life? Because like, I'm not kidding you. I literally cannot get an interview anywhere. And I have applied to hundreds, if not thousands of jobs in the past few months. I literally don't know what to do. Like I'm genuinely so scared. Like I really am terrified. Like I don't know what is happening in the world right now, but like I am a good candidate. I don't know what's happening.
There are no jobs in Newcastle for nurses. Can you actually believe that? I have had a couple of student nurses in my DMs who are due to qualify, super anxious, one because they're qualifying and two because they can't get a job. There's approximately 500 student nurses due to qualify in Newcastle, and there's currently 50 jobs. When I first qualified, we was in the same boat in Barnsley. They split a full-time job into two, so at the very least 2 people got the opportunity to get 18.5-hour contracts, which weren't ideal, just so you could get through the preceptorship. I don't know, I don't work in Newcastle, I don't know what's going on in Newcastle, but I wondered if anybody could just share information just to support the student nurses due to qualify, and if there are anywhere else in the country where there are no jobs for nurses. And I am puzzled as to why. You would think in this day and age where they're crying out for nurses, what is going on?
This job market is way worse than you actually think. Like, if you're not actually in this market looking for a job, I truly don't think you know what it's like. It's brutal. Like, people are like, oh, unemployment is low. There's so many jobs being posted every single day. And yes, there are so many jobs being posted every day, but like, majority of those are just ghost jobs that don't really even exist. Companies will just post these jobs to post them, either for tax reasons or to gauge interest, but they have no intention of hiring. Like, I've been unemployed for 6 months and I have applied to so many jobs, like so many jobs, and I've heard back only from a handful of those. Either I'm ghosted through the process or I just don't get the job. And it's like, when I do hear back and I'm interviewing, these interviews last for so many rounds. I'm talking like 5, 6, 7, including case studies and presentations for the case studies. Like, I've gone down to the final round so many times, and it always comes down to like me and a couple of other people or another person. And it's just so competitive out there. Like, I've invested months of my time in a company only to get rejected. It's such a frustrating process. Like, I have over 6 years of work experience and I have a degree, and it's just brutal out here. And when people say, oh, the market's not actually as bad as people are saying, like, no, you're clearly not looking for a job and you're not going through this process.
I don't know what to do at this point. I don't know what to do at this point. You mean to tell me I did not get one job from one of those 2 interviews, yeah? And I recently got referred, and that process did not go well as well. At this point, I'm thinking, this is just karma to me. Karma to me. What do I have to do to get a job in Big 24? I can't. Why can't there be a job for every single one of us? Why? How much do I have to sell my front to get at least a fucking McDonald's job at this point?
I never thought this would happen. This chart shows the unemployment rates of 25 to 29-year-olds with bachelor's degrees. Sadly, computer science is #1. People in tech are always roasting liberal arts and communications majors for not having jobs, but they're doing better than us, bro. This right here is what happens when you have years of social media influencers telling everyone to go into CS because you can make 100K plus no problem. And also, the people who are in CS right now don't even know how to do it. They just know how to use ChatGPT. Let me know where your major stacks up.
I can't even lie to y'all, right? I graduated from college, I want to say about 6 months ago, right? Almost 6 months. I literally have not found shit as far as jobs go. For context, I have a business degree. Before the comments get to bashing and whatnot, the only reason why I ended up getting a business degree, because I was originally a psychology major, was because my advisor told me that you could do a lot of things with a business degree. Yeah, not in this fucking economy. I deadass feel like it's gonna be a long time before I find a job in my field. Cause so far, the only thing I've seen is sales representative jobs and working at a fucking kiosk selling phone plans. Which, if you remember one of my previous videos, I literally just left a job just like that. And it's just so frustrating because I worked for like 4 years to get this degree, and I feel like I'm not gonna do nothing with it for a very long time. And honestly, if I'm being completely honest, marketing as a whole has a lot of shady things that I don't like about it. And like, I want to go into real estate because my mom and my oldest sister, they're real estate agents, but there's a lot of things about real estate that I don't like. And like, right now my plan is to just like get a certificate for something, because the job I work at now, they offer like paying for certificates you can get if you work full-time, which I do. And I might just do that, and I might just end up doing something in tech or in cyber security, because that's what I do for my job right now. So yeah, I literally don't know what else to do. If you're a business major and you're getting ready to graduate, please keep that in mind. The job market right now is fucking horrible.
The job market is so interesting right now because it feels like some groups of people are facing a recession while other groups of people aren't. I've seen so many articles saying that the job market is actually good because all these new jobs are getting added and the unemployment rate is still under 4%. But then when we start to look a little bit closer, we can see that for people between 20 and 24, it's actually 7.2%. And then when we look at white collar work specifically, we've seen rampant layoffs in places like tech and finance. It's very easy to say, well, these people should just get blue collar jobs or they should switch industries, but that's hard to do in a good job market. For some reason, we're very apprehensive when people want to switch industries, so then you add on the fact that thousands of people in tech are getting laid off. When they all try to move to a new industry, it doesn't go so well. And so if you're in any of those buckets and you feel really discouraged when you see articles saying the job market's great right now, it might not be great for you. Market being good as a whole and the market being good in the area you have expertise in, very, very different. And if you aren't having a lot of luck finding open positions on Indeed or LinkedIn, I would recommend going to these job boards as well. Several of these are remote focused, but if you're interested in hybrid or in office, I would do Flex Jobs, Built-in, or Ladders. I will move so you can take a screenshot, and don't forget to follow along while you're here.
If you are unemployed, I just heard the best job search tip that I've probably ever heard in all 3 of my layoffs in all the years that I've been dealing with this. Okay, so we were just on my Slack community call, and there was a former HR professional recruiter on there. She's currently laid off looking for work. And someone else on the call asked the question of, how do you know, how to structure your day? Like, we have all this time, it's hard to prioritize, it's hard to figure out when you are doing meaningful work, when you're spinning your wheels, and then also how to prioritize yourself and your mental health, etc. So we go through like our conversation, and people are sharing what they do and how they approach the job search and how they make sure that when they're actually focused on it, the work that they're doing is meaningful, etc. So this woman, who is a former HR professional / recruiter, she said that when she was working, Monday morning she'd post the job, and she would just let applications come in all day, pretty much through Tuesday morning, and she'd see how many people applied. Tuesday was the day that she would go through all the applications, and she's like, that was the day. And she told us she didn't use ATS. There were certain questions that would knock out a candidate. So if there was a specific thing they were looking for and you didn't have it, you were turned away. Like if it was, something with a specific role, education, whatever credential qualification. So those people get knocked out, but she would personally go through all the resumes. So that was Tuesday. She said Wednesday and Thursday, she's making phone calls to the qualified candidates to set up interviews for the following week. And then Friday, if she didn't feel like she got qualified candidates or if not enough people applied, she would repost the job. So she said the way she approaches her search now on the other side is Monday, she power applies to jobs. She's applying to every job, she's applying to things through Tuesday morning. Knowing and understanding that on the other side of the table, Tuesday is the day people are probably reviewing the applications. And then she said on Wednesday and Thursday, she doesn't apply for jobs because she's like, that's the day that they're making the calls for the following week. So they're not looking at anything. They're just looking at the people that have already applied. So sure, you can apply on those days, but it might not go anywhere. You might as well wait till next Monday or Friday when they repost the job. If they repost the job, it's because they haven't gotten any qualified candidates, and they're hoping that if they repost the job on Friday, they'll get the people on Saturday and Sunday that maybe already are employed and are looking, but they don't have the time to do it during the week. This was genius. So she essentially said Monday, she power applies through Tuesday morning. Tuesday, she kind of slows down. Wednesday, Thursday, she gets to take a break from that and does other things. That's when, she gets some other stuff done. Maybe she works on things. Maybe she has a side hustle, whatever. And then Friday is when she reviews any repost. She also shared that she knows that Indeed pushes jobs to the top that are reposted on Mondays. I have not heard such tangible advice in the 3 layoffs, in the 3 years that I've been going through this, where it's this is how you should structure your day based on my experience on the other side of the table. So if you're a hiring manager, recruiter, person in charge, I'm going to ask you, is this how you structure your week? Because if this is how you're all doing it, we just cracked some code of scheduling and managing our own calendar. And I think when you can manage your own calendar and your time and you feel like you're doing real work and you're productive, your mental health just goes up. And then us unemployed little angels are going to feel so much better about the way that we're living our life right now. So help me, but this is genius, right?